This is Polygon Wizard, and welcome back to my Let's Play on the Kompany 008 Minecraft server. Today we're going to show you around a bit at my base outside of spawn that I've started, and show you the things I've done since the tour video last time of the area. So, as you can see, we're at temporary housing right now. I'm going to show you the infrastructure I've started to build so that we can get all sorts of things started. So anyway, let me show you around a bit. Alright, if you guys saw my last single-player video, you'll know that I had a bit of trouble with audio the last time I recorded, and I had to re-record over the top of watching it later, so this is the same case here. I recorded this the same day, there was no voiceover audio when I finished, so I'm recording this over later on, so I don't remember exactly what went on. The problem is, this time I'm doing this a whole lot later, so I really don't remember. I'm just showing you, this is the same hill where we first started the tour. I got my little boat down there in the waterfall. And this is a couple of giant trees I've planted on Epic Vista number 1. You can still see the sun up there. You can see what I've done with my nether portal. I made it so I could get back to Spawn Town. We'll go over there in a bit. The basic idea is that the nether has, started creeping out of the portal and it's taken over the place. I haven't finished this by any means. I just sort of started. It's kind of like the nether disease, basically, coming out of the portal. And I'm going to build this up a whole lot later. Might have it go down the hills a whole lot more than I got now. And I'm going to have some ruins, maybe some broken portals, whatnot, everywhere. Make it all sorts of nasty and ruined kind of look to it. Like somebody built these portals way long time ago, and since then the years have not been kind. So it's kind of like, the portal on a hill that if you need to get somewhere, you can go to use it, but it's a dangerous place, so everyone just kind of shuns it up at the top of the hill and tries to ignore its existence, because it's, what you use to tell your kids at night some scary stories to keep them in line, One of those places. You send your friends up there on a dare, and then they never come back. So as you can see, we've still got cliff animals. We've got a cliff sheep right below us. There's a cliff pig off in the distance, I think on the other side. You can see a second. I saw it for a little bit on the edges of the screen. But yeah, you see, this is kind of the idea. Have the netherrack flow down, kind of like tentacles or tendrils, just like evil growth that's taking over the land. And I gotta tell you, this side is a lot more difficult because it's just a sheer cliff over nothing, so we're gonna have to have some more stuff fall down, but I think I'm gonna pillar up from the ground to finish this side. Going down from the top is kind of difficult. Even using the waterfall trick, where you pour some water on and sort of use it as a ladder. Kind of difficult to place things that way. Yeah, there you go. There's a couple cliff pigs stuck on the side. Still not sure if I want to rescue these guys or just let them stay there. They seem to like it. Although that sheep over there, I don't know. He should be a little scared with all that netherrack coming around him. It's like, buddy, your little safe block isn't so safe. You got all this nether growing around you. Pretty soon you're going to become a petrified sheep man. Those actually existed in Minecraft. Pigmen exist. Sheepmen are next. Alright, here is my mine entrance down here at the bottom of the hill. When I started, it was a little pit. I carved out the back because I was going to make a room, and then went out the other side of the hill. So, I think I'll build some stuff down here eventually, and this will just be sort of like the mine up in the hill somewhere. So that the people on the ground don't have to go to like a hilltop or something besides. Who has a mine on the hilltop anyway? That's kind of silly. So for now, all that's down here is the mine, but we'll build some other stuff down here later. Maybe some farms, maybe like an actual village. Who knows? We'll see. Right now, though, it's just my mine, and we're going to go down here in a second. I'll show you a little bit of how I've set it up, and talk a little bit about how I normally do mining. Which, I don't know. Me being an aesthetics guy, I do mining not quite the most efficient way, but it looks pretty when it's done. And that's the important part, right? Looking pretty? Maybe not. So as you can see, we've got a ladder down into the depths. Sometimes I make this a little bit wider, sometimes I make it just small like this. I have the extra blocks so you can sort of bunny hop down the ladder if you want. I could put water at the base, but, I haven't yet. So this is kind of what I do with my mine entrances. I put some furnaces, I put crafting tables in the floor, wherever they fit. Usually do my furnaces in groups of 9, just because it works out well that way. And I have some storage. I have expanded this a little bit, and usually I like to do double chests, but I had just single chests right now at the point of when I recorded this. And I have my ender chest there as well. Ender chest is where I put a few things like diamonds so they don't get stolen, or mostly because I don't have a lot, so I can afford to put them in one place. And that way I can use them elsewhere, like at the end farm. I don't have to like haul them around everywhere, I just have the diamonds. So as you can see, I ran into a little cave back here, and I wanted to explore it later, but I didn't want any mobs wandering in, so I blocked it off with a little stone wall fence. But then I left it open so I could still see it, so I wouldn't forget it was there. Yeah, it's the problem with these. There's so many tunnels, you forget what's down each one sometimes, so you gotta leave little reminders. So anyway, I'm talking about here, I believe was the size of my tunnels. That's 2 by 3. 2 wide, 3 tall is what I usually do my tunnels, as far as the tunnel itself. Because I like to go in a circle pattern like I'm doing here with the stairs. Very effective there. No, just counting. But anyway, I like to go sort of in a little oval circle pattern with my mining and get going. Some people like to go fast. I like to go a little bit slower that way, but I see more. It's fun. You get into a nice pattern that way. I just put the zombie heads on there. Just talking about found the zombie spawner back there. It's a little ways back. There's a cave with a zombie spawner right above this tunnel, so I had a few extra zombie heads lying around, and so I figured, hey, I'll mark this tunnel so I remember it's down here. In fact, I don't think the tunnel really goes further than you can see the back end of there, so I don't go down it here to show you guys, but I just wanted to tell you what was back there. I think there's even an extra zombie head in the wall. I had 3 of them. Yep, there's one. I mean, what else are you going to do with zombie heads other than make your strip mine look kind of creepy, right? Right. So anyway, normally I do my tunnels 2 wide by 3 tall, just because that's how I like to mine, but then the space in between is usually I vary it up sometimes just randomly because I set it up differently. This time I set it up a little extra wide because I wanted to have these stone wall fences there just to make things look a little prettier for the tunnel entrances. So I have 5 blocks in between so that by the time you carve out the little corners for the stone walls, you have 3 blocks so you could put a torch in the center. Sometimes when I'm being a little more efficient about things, I just do the 3 blocks in between the tunnels. Here I have 5, and I figure it's not that bad. Whoops, accidentally knocked the torch off behind you. That's funny Minecraft physics for you. But anyway, if I'm being more efficient, I usually just leave only the 3 blocks, but I was being a little fancier here just for the heck of it, basically. So I might miss a few things, but in the end, that's not that big of a deal because you're going to get everything you need anyway for building. You're going to get all of your stone just by doing this, and you're going to get a few other things. You're going to still get plenty of redstone. You're going to get plenty of other things. You might miss a few diamonds here and there, but I'm still going to get plenty for my purposes, because the only thing I really use diamonds for is tools, so I still get plenty enough to repair mine, make the few odds and ends new ones that I need. Every time I go mining, I come back with enough, and then I'll wait for a long time, and then have to go mining again, so I kind of break it up that way. It's like I need stuff, so I'm going to go mining for a few hours, and then I don't go mining for several sessions after that. And again, me being an aesthetics guy, I just like to set up my stuff so it looks good, so that when you come back here and you're walking down, you know, this main corridor, later on it looks like, hey, this is a nice mine, this is a nice place. Now what you don't see here later that I don't know if I'll get to it in videos later or not, because, you know, mine's really interesting. You know, not really, but I probably won't come back for a while. I did build a little gate at the front end of the main corridor there, just as an extra added precaution against mobs wandering in case I don't light up the place well enough. I wasn't quite in this video, I made it soon after this one though, so it's just kind of like, yeah, put an extra fence gate with some stone walls there, just to make sure that mobs can't get me while I'm crafting things or cooking things at the front of my mine entrance. As you can see, I'm still ender pearling my way around these hills. I don't have anything better yet. I plan on, once I get some structures built everywhere, I'll build some sky bridges up here. Well, I call them sky bridges. They'll just be, you know, kind of like rickety rope bridges, I'm thinking. rather than something super awesome, crazy, and ornate. But we'll see what I end up building. I haven't done it yet, but in the distance you can kind of see my first major project, so I'm going to get on a better cliff face here and show it to you, get you a good look at it. One of the first things you need here to set up infrastructure-wise is mining for supplies and also food. So I started a farm so I wouldn't starve. I got some potatoes, and then I decided, you know what, I need a farmhouse. But I was trying to decide what styles I wanted to do, and I was looking at some older stuff, and I saw some things I'd always wanted to do, a style of sort of steampunk, kind of like the videos this YouTuber, smaller YouTuber guy that I found out from a few of the bigger ones like BOO and Generic B have linked to this guy named Lynchy Inc. They linked to him a while back, so he's gotten a few more subs since then. He doesn't make a ton of videos, but when he does, they're really, really good. He has a few tutorials and just a few sort of cinematics of worlds he's built. They're all this cool steampunk style with these crazy proportions. And this one, this house is dialed back a little bit. It's only like one big layer with, you know, this jutty out bit in the back, as I think he likes to call them. Whereas sometimes on the level I'm pointing out right now, there's another level above it where the jetty out bit goes to the other side to sort of balance it out, and it's all this kind of big thing where it's small on the bottom, bigger on the top as it goes. I think he calls these his tower houses because a lot of them go up several levels. This one's just one, and I got a nice steampunk windmill in the back. I just dialed it back a little bit in proportions, but it's still very steampunky. And for my first build, it's not too bad. I messed around creative a bit at first to sort of get the tips and tricks on how to do this style from one of his tutorials, Lynchy Inc. And then I, came in here and did it in survival, which is a lot harder, pillaring up and doing all this thing in survival when you can't fly around. So this one isn't exactly like his tutorial, which is good. I just wanted to get the tutorial out of the way creative so I knew what I was doing when I came back here to build it. I built this over like a couple sections really quickly, just like cranked it out because I was having so much fun. Alright guys, so I had to cut a little bit out there. I had a coughing fit, still getting over my voice. If you saw my UHC Ultra Hardcore videos recently, you know I had a sore throat, and then I was sick for about a week after that. So it's still got a little bit of a cough, but my voice isn't too bad. I was just showing here you my quick farm area, my 9x9 farms. I got wheat, and I got potatoes, I got carrots. Plenty to live on out here, so I don't have to go back to my spawn house all the time to resupply. Got a few ovens, out of my builds. Ovens, I always call them ovens. My furnace is up there. And a few chests here at my build site. I've got my little tree farm up here where I just put some cobble in the sky to restrict the height of the oak trees, and then when I needed the other kinds like spruce or birch, I just plant them randomly outside the hill, bone meal them up, chop them down, and boom, I've got wood to build this house. And let me tell you, because of the materials I chose on this, I did all wood for the main parts of the top. You get a lot of logs, then you get a lot of like the planks and everything, so that's a lot of wood. You got fences for the windmill out back. You got stairs for the roof. It's lots and lots of wood you're going to need if you want to build one of these style of houses. So. And then if you do a different thing, like I think sandstone or some other like, lighter looking material would look good for in between the log pillars in here. You can do a lot of different variations on this style. Filling in Enderman divots, always fun. So right here, I'm just sort of showing you off the base. You got kind of a odd number to size base. I believe this is a 5x7 base for the main part in the middle, and then you've got all the extra feet and things on the side to give it some cool details. You got a little bit of stone walls on the inside and the gaps, and you got a stairway that comes down. Talking about like the different layers up there and the depth that you get. I do go inside. Yeah, let's see. I've got my main sort of floor, which is just a little spiral staircase. I needed a way to get up while I was building, so I made something a little bit fancy. Haven't really put anything in the house yet. Then you got the main stairs in the back to the main level up top, which is a nice thing. This top level, it's only really one from the outside, but it's so big you can fit 2 floors in it. So from the outside, I had added, the other section. I would have had like, another 4 floors. It'd be insane. Way too big from what I actually needed for this one anyway. I'm sure later on in this base out here we'll make some bigger buildings, but for now this is just a farmhouse, so we don't want to build the hugest building straight off the bat, right? So we got our nice redstone lamp hanging down. I think, yeah, I'm showing the roof off a little bit. Later on we'll get up here on the actual roof and build a bit of the other side, and you can see it's incomplete. So I think right now I was actually talking about the dimensions for the roof and how to get that sort of curve going on, but I'll tell you that again later when we actually get up there to build it. It's actually pretty simple, and it gives it a nicer look than just straight angled roof would. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a straight angled roof, but this is a little bit more interesting to get that nice curve, that slope to it. And it's the same principle like as building an archway or something, it's just kind of upside down. So again, the Lynchy Ink guy I mentioned, I will have a link in his description. A link to Lynchy Ink. Haha. I'll put a annotation on the screen here probably, or earlier on. I'll probably put it at the earlier section when I first talk about it. I'll have one in the description to his channel, but he's got a couple tutorials, one of which is just the basic rules of archways and doing sort of curved structures in Minecraft and how to make them look good and the rules for putting those together. And it's very, very informative. And once you go through it a couple times and get sort of the basic rules in your head, it's actually pretty easy to sort of just make some archways off the cuff, which is, for this style of build, comes in very, very handy because you're doing it under walls, you're doing it upside down for roofs, you're doing like a big bridge somewhere, you can do the archways underneath, you're doing like a castle wall, you'll want archways. Very, very handy. Apparently I needed some supplies here, so I'm planting some trees, bone mealing them up a little bit. One thing I like about this server is I think it's a lag issue, because when I'm in single player bone meal, it's like every time you hit it, it takes one. But here on the server, it's some weird thing where it's like you're communicating to the server, but it doesn't quite get it fast enough to take it, so you can just sit there and spam it. And it only takes bone meal at the very end when it actually works, so I like it. Even though I have tons of bone meal, I have way more than I actually need, and even if it worked normally, it'd be fine. So I think that's what's going on. I don't know, maybe not. As you'll notice, we've got the timber mod on the server, which has since been taken off for the ultra hardcore event, and hasn't been added back when we went back to the normal server because forgot to add it back on or something, or we're too lazy to, or whatever. So anyway, it makes tree chopping quicker. It's not that big of a deal. It's just slightly slower to actually chop them block by block, but hey, this way when you're chopping trees you can go timber, and it's a whole lot of fun. And if you're in voice chat with anyone, you can creep them out of how insane you are, right? Oh, sorry. Get a little bit out of hand. Keep it together. Keep it together. Don't show them your dark side. Alright, I'm a little bit punchy at the moment. Slightly. But, hey, nothing wrong with being goofy. Keeps things interesting and keeps things fun for both me and you. And I know I mentioned a lot of my single player video that I did this where I re-recorded the audio, but it is really weird watching this back. Trying to remember what you talked about. This time I think I'm doing a little bit better job of filling the time than I did on that other one, because I had a little bit of practice from doing this once before, haha. But it still does make you wonder, what was I talking about right here? Especially since I am recording this much later on. It's probably been at least a couple weeks since I recorded this. So it's a little weird going back and saying, oh look, I've made progress since even this video, and it's also like, oh yeah, I forgot, what did I actually talk about in this video? How much derping around did I do? Haha. Looks like I've got my supplies. I'm probably going up to the roof here in a second. Hopefully I am. If I am, I will be telling you a bit more about how I put it together. Or well, how Lynchy Ink does this style of video that I totally ripped off to do my house, right? If we're being accurate. As I quickly show you the floor here, I put slabs on there just to cover up the intermittent logs and planks there, just so it looks a little bit nicer and uniform inside. I believe this floor is just at normal level, even though it's half slabs. It's not... Excuse me. Yep, there you go. There's no gap, so it's normal height. So mobs could still spawn in there if I don't have it lit up well. So gotta make sure to have enough torches, right? Later on, I add a couple of those redstone lamps in here inside the house. I don't think it's in this video, so you'll probably get to see it in a future video. I really like the look of the redstone lamps better than just plain old glowstone, because man, glowstone in vanilla Minecraft is one block. I think it is literally the one block that I don't like. Other than maybe like mossy cobble. Mossy cobble in itself is alright. It's just way too bold compared to like mossy stone brick, where it's a lot more subtle effect, but it's not super ugly. But man, glowstone itself is kind of it's ugly in default Minecraft. Everything else I really like the look of. So if I can get away with it, I use the lamps. So anyway, here's the stairs, and on this style roof you start with a single stair, then you move back and it's another single stair. Then you have one block with a stair on top, which is where we're at now, filling in the gap. And then you have another one, which is one block with a stair on top. And then for this one, since the roof is pretty tall and it's fairly wide, you know, it depends on how wide, how far you have to go to get to center, you have two blocks with a stair on top, and I do that, I believe, yes, twice at the top. So we've done a single stair, and we've got a block with a stair on top right now that we're standing on. We're doing another one right here in front of us will be a block with a stair on top. Then you have two sets of two blocks with a stair on top, and then in the center you meet with and you put along a row of half slabs on the very top, so that this entire roof, the exposed sort of flat surfaces, are stairs and half slabs, so no mobs can spawn on it and you don't have to light it up. Makes it very nice. It looks good and it's mob safe, so you don't have creepers dive bombing you later. Always important. So I was just showing off a bit of the back roof for the small section. Is a little bit different dimensions because it's slightly less wide, so you have a little bit of where the roofs join in together that you have to do a little bit of extra stuff once it's finished, but it's easier to do one roof than the other roof and then go back and fix all the little gaps, which sort of come in where you have stairs next to stairs, and then there's a tiny what, quarter block hole, I guess, quarter of a block. So yeah, here I just wanted to get some building in so that you could see it. I won't build it all. Later at the end of this video, I finish up this roof here really quick. I still have the little gaps there. I finished the gap there in the front of the roof, put a window or something in it off camera, and then I have a little fly around I'll show you guys later so you can see a nice view of this house. Get a nice look at it. You can have all sorts of little variations in how you put these things together. You could put a different windmill on the back. You could just not put a windmill at all. You could put some sort of crazy dock out back. You could put different balconies. You could have jutty out bits in a different direction. It's all in the way that you stack it. You sort of build the bottom part the same, the base, every time, so that you have a nice base to build off, and then the variation comes in when you're moving your way up. But as you can see, if you're already starting fairly high up on top of a hill, you get to cloud level pretty quickly. These houses are pretty tall, hence tower house, right? And this one isn't even much of a tower from the bottom. It's still very sort of normal house looking. Well, you know, to a point. But as you can see, building this in survival, the roof part isn't too bad as long as you bring the actual supplies with you. I chopped these back out a little bit because when I was up here on the other side, I filled in the middle with a few of the blocks and then ran out, so I had to fill in this gap. Mostly that's in there. I'm filling it in for the interior so that the roof comes down a little bit on the inside. It doesn't really have anything to do with the outside because, as you can see, I've got the stairs there and then you've got a half slab, so you don't even see those full blocks, but it's nice. The half slabs in the middle, it's nice. You make sure, you know, that's where odd numbered dimensions on the bottom, if you start right down there, everything else comes together really nice. So if you're building in odd numbers, your roof will come together like this, where you can have that half slab in the middle that comes to a nice peak. So do a little ender pearl off here, pick up a couple saplings on our way, see Mr. Creeper in the distance and say, hey, we're gonna snipe you, fool. We have no incursions from creepers out here. Oh, and he moved right as I was shooting. My sniping skills are lacking today, man. Whew. You're doing pretty good with the bow and arrow. It doesn't really matter, I guess, if you have infinite supply, which I don't remember. I don't think I am using the infinity bow right here because I have to fix it. Shortly after making this video, I actually was working on my nether track, my nether rail track that goes from here all the way back to the nether hub, which I will probably show off in a later video. It's just kind of bare bones right now, so I can get back and forth without it taking forever. We'll make it pretty later, but I was working on it, fixing something in the middle, and fell to my doom, fell to my death. Couldn't make it back in time to get my supplies, all my tools, so I lost a bunch of diamond armor, lost a bunch of good diamond tools. Luckily I had enough diamonds to make stuff back again and spend some time in the ender farm, so it wasn't too painful to replace stuff. But because of that, I did get an infinity bow back. But right here I didn't have one because my infinity bow, I was trying not to break it so that I could repair it, and then found that I couldn't repair it even by doing a name trick where you name an item and then come back to it and it will let you repair. Not so if you have too many enchantments, which my bow here does. It's like punch and power and like fire and infinity or whatever it was. I don't remember. It had everything on it. It was a really nice bow, but that's okay. It isn't meant to last, and I have a good one now and again anyway. So this is a nice view of the side. You can see the windmill back here. It's just blocks. I think it's 8 each direction. You've got log in the middle for the spine of the thing, and then it goes 8 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 each direction, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you got fences on the side that sort of wrap around it. You got one side that you kind of rotate it around. One side has just a single fence, one has 2, so the one I'm pointing at on this one closest to us, it's 2 on the bottom. As you can see, 1, 2 things of fence. And then you leave a sort of 2-block gap when you're making this, when you get to the middle, so that when you get to your single fence layer, you have 1 gap in between, so it still looks, they don't connect, because if they connect, it looks kind of funky. So you leave that little gap so it still looks like a windmill. Looks pretty nice. I like that style. It looks more like a farm style one than some of the other ones you can do. Versus just sort of, you can make some that look like a propeller or whatever, but I went with that one because I like it. I figure if you're having a farm up here, you want a sort of farmy looking windmill, even if you are doing sort of steampunk style. So things are wrapping up. This is kind of where we left it off right after the tour. I'll be checking back in. I've got plans for the next thing I want to build, which is going to be up sort of on the left up here to this hill up to the side. Actually, it's going to be out in space, sort of over there. That's the first thing I'm going to build. So I got plans. I'm going to have mobile farm airships, basically, is my plan. Sort of air barges, if you will. That's my idea. I haven't quite got it figured out yet. I'm still working things out, but we'll probably build on those in the next episode. Show you a little bit of how my progress and build on one of them. That's my plans anyway. And then we're going to build sort of a station up top, kind of like not a train station, but an airship station for when these things come in. Your import and export, or moving crops to proper biomes to where they build really, or they grow really well. So if you're growing cactuses, growing up here in extreme hills isn't great, but fly off to a desert, grow them, and then deliver them to your customers. Airships come in handy for all sorts of things. Plus, nothing says steampunk like airships, right? But I just didn't want to do a straight up one, so I'm going to do a little twist on it for at least right now. We might do regular ones later, who knows, but for now, looking at the moon going down in the distance, the sun coming up. Moon's going down means this episode is over. Look at our little portal. Looks kind of nice over there, actually. Kind of fun. We're going to have it not look nice. It's ruins, man. Ruins. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll come back next time on the server. We'll do a little bit more building up in this area. Build this place up before we move on to another little area down below somewhere. So, hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.